Hi guys, welcome to another video by Optionables. My name is Saket and today we are going to review the trades taken on 29th of July 2021. So as expected, market was relatively flat and this is why we were able to book some really good profits today. And what I am going to do is, rather than review the intraday trade today, I am going to explain more about why we actually expected the market to open flat, right? So for that, we will have to go to Sensible. I'm later going to show you the trade video where we actually booked some profits. So we are not going to actually discuss the trade review on charts today because it is relatively simple. We actually saw that BankNifty moved nowhere except for this one particular move. But even that was manageable, right? So I'm going to show you what exactly happened and why exactly did we take the positional trade. So because of the positional trade, as I had mentioned yesterday, if the positional trade goes well, then we are going to book over 2 to 3 lakh in positional trade itself, and we can also end up booking little more than that if intraday trade also goes well. So overall we were able to end with a profit of somewhere close to 6.7 lakh, and I am going to discuss more about what actually made us think that market might actually remain flat today or might open flat today. So ending, you really don't know what will happen, but we were at least expecting the market to open flat, and I'm going to give you what was the logic behind that. So why exactly did we think so, right? For that we will have to go to Sensible. I can't show you option chain of yesterday elsewhere apart from Sensible, so I'll be going to Sensible and I'll be showing you the option chain. So here if I come to Sensible, I have already opened it. So I have already set everything, right? So you can see this is 28th end. So 28th of July, option chain as on 28th of July. So here we can quite clearly see there are lot of call writing which has happened. So 23 million calls which have been written. And even puts totally, the total OI is around 14.9 million. So even this is quite significant, but you can quite clearly see there is lot of calls compared to puts. So what does this mean? When there is so much call writing which has happened, which means that if market actually shoots up, right, then people are actually going to lose lot of money, and we know that usually option writers are institutions. So being an institution, you really don't want to lose lot of money. So if you have written so much calls, then you would be really careful, because if the market actually shoots up to 35,200 or 35,300, you are going to lose a lot. So now coming to individual strikes. So quite clearly 35,000 already had somewhere close to 2 million or 20 lakh contracts. So this was bound to act as a very strong resistance for sure. So I personally didn't expect a move above 35,000. And we were currently trading at 34,500. And there was some strong writing which was happening around 34,800 as well as 900 also. So you can see that even 800 has almost close to 1.5 million and even 900 has almost close to a million. So there is somewhere close to 40 lakh OI in these three strikes alone. So based on this, I told we were expecting a range of 34,900 on the upside yesterday. I was expecting 34,800 to act as a strong resistance. So to be little more conservative, I had given a figure of 34,900 in yesterday's video, right? So this was the logic on the call side. It is pretty straightforward, because whenever the market falls, yesterday we saw a big market fall, we see lot of call writing happening. So we see lot of people writing calls. So this is pretty obvious. But what we have to focus on is the put side. So this is quite clearly visible that there are a lot of calls and people don't want the market to go up quite a lot, at least till this expiry, because they are going to lose lot of money. So what happens after the market opens is completely different. So at least they don't want the market to open very high. So that is what we can understand from this particular thing, right? So this is just an indication or sentiment of what people expect. So it doesn't mean that it will always happen like this. That is one really important thing what we have to keep in mind. So just because many people are expecting this to happen doesn't mean that it should happen. So it can go completely against this, and that's when all this short covering rally usually kicks in, right? So now what is more important than the call side is definitely the put side. So we have to understand what actually happened to the OI when the markets came down. So we usually see when the markets come down, in the money puts, lot of unwinding will usually happen if the market falls down, or if the market shoots up, in the money call unwinding will happen. So we will have to go to the data and check whether there was any unwinding happening in puts of BankNifty. And because this OI is end of the day, so we will have to figure out what actually happened during the day. So that is what we are going to do now. So now when I come to intraday OI change, that is inter-day OI change from 28 to 28 itself. So we can see that lot of puts were closed, right? And lot of calls were written. So there was extra 1.1 million calls which were written, and almost 1.4 million put contracts were actually closed. So what we can see is, in spite of market falling so much, we saw some put writing or put addition close to 34,400, 34,300, lot of put writing happening at 34,000. And here we saw lot of put unwinding which happened. So most of the put positions were closed and lot of unwinding happened. And some very aggressive call writing did happen at 34,800, 900 and 34,700. So very aggressive call writing also happened. So this is again not sufficient data for us to come to a conclusion, because when market fell so much, unwinding is expected. But what is more we have to look at is, so here we see some strong addition of puts. Here also we see some addition of puts. So we will have to see how and why exactly this particular thing occurred. So more than that, when exactly this particular thing occurred. For that we will have to go to Multistrike OI, right? So I have already opened that and I'll quickly show that to you. So here when we come to Multistrike OI, I'll just clear the board. So we here have chart of BankNifty, which is quite clearly visible. So just to make this easy, I'm first going to add 34,700, and this is around 28th, and this is end of 28th. So you can see that as and when the market fell, right, there was some strong increase in OI. So it was right over here and it jumped all the way till here. And even though the market recovered, you didn't see much of an unwinding happening. So that's the reason you knew that there is some strong call writing happening, even though the market is actually bouncing back up. So this was one very strong indication that there is some strong call writing happening, and this is expected because when the market falls, obviously there will be call writing. So that is not a surprise at all. But what you have to actually look at is the put side. So what I am going to do now is I am going to show you one in the money put. So that is, I am going to put 29 July 35,000 PE. So you can quite clearly see here, as the market started coming down, the OI of the put also started falling. So this clearly indicates when there is no put writing happening at 35,000, when people are just unwinding the put contracts, this is a clear indication of people not expecting the market to go above 35,000, because you're closing your 35,000 put contracts. Why would you close your 35,000 put contracts if you're an option writer? Because if it doesn't go above 35,000, you're not going to make money end of the day. So that's the reason they're closing their contracts, which clearly, even though the market is bouncing back up here, they're continuously closing the contracts, which clearly indicates that they're not expecting a move above 35,000, right? So now we will come to 34,700. So 34,700 also, we saw some strong unwinding happening as and when the market started to come down. So till yesterday we saw some strong unwinding happening, and we will forget about today. So we'll just focus on yesterday, right? So even though the market actually went up, you never really saw any sort of recovery in OI, or I mean to say, when I say recovery, extra writing in OI. So you never saw any extra writing happening in 34,700 option. So now coming to 34,500 put options. Analyzing put data is very important, right? You can see right over here, as and when the market started to bounce up, so it had actually fallen when the market crashed. So you saw some strong put writing also happening at 34,500. But what I'm trying to intend is, you saw that in 35,000 and 34,700, put option OI never went up. So that's the point I'm trying to make. The OI never went up. The OI just slided down all the way to 0. But here that is not the case. So yesterday, as the market bounced back, so even though the market bounced yesterday, there was no addition of options. But here, when the market is bouncing back, they're actually adding more of put option, right? So I'll just come to 34,200 now. So you can see that in 34,200 put option, this is even amazing. When the market came down, there was no unwinding, but when the market bounced back up, there was some strong OI buildup which was happening. So this is still yesterday. So which means it's a very positive sign, because when the market is bouncing back up, in the other two strikes, we saw that people were never really interested in writing that put option again. So they never really bothered to sell 34,700 put option again. Whereas 34,500 was little different. So whatever OI was lost, it just got back the same OI. So there was no real addition of OI. Whereas for 34,200, there was some strong addition of OI. So now we will also look at 34,000 put option. So even in 35,000 put option, 34,000 put option, when the market fell, we saw addition of OI. When the market bounced back, we saw further addition of OI. This is something, again, a very good data point. The thing is, towards the end, this dip in OI is absolutely fine. Every day you find this dip in OI. You can see that here, you can see that here, you can see that here as well. This is because many intraday positions get closed towards the end, and that's the reason every day, whether it's call or put, you see some dip in OI happening, because all the positions intraday will start to get cleared, right? So with that, you really understood that 34,000 was some sort of a strong support. 34,200 as well as 300 was also going to act as pretty good support. So with that in mind, yesterday we told a range of 34,200 to 34,900, and the market actually ended up staying in this range. So I gave you a conservative number. The range what we expected was 34,300 to 34,800. So we were expecting a little shorter range, but on YouTube I gave a little conservative number. So this is how we actually looked at the OI data yesterday. So we did this only for today, because today is the expiry, and we don't actually do it for month-end options. So I'm not actually going to look at the month-end options and take a call whether I should sell a put or sell a call. So month-end options, we do it quite differently. So we just have a view in mind, and based on that view, we take a trade. So this is with regards to the weekly options or yesterday's positional trade which we took. So with that, I am now going to quickly show you what exactly happened to the trade. So this is today's video, guys. So you can see here in the morning. Okay, there is one more thing where people usually get confused, for people who are using Firstock app as well. So I'm going to show you that quickly. Where they usually get confused is there are two things called as M2M as well as P&L. So I am going to explain what is this M2M and what is this P&L, right? So M2M is nothing but whatever positions we carried from the yesterday's closing price to current price. So yesterday's closing price to the last traded price. So that is M2M. Whereas P&L is from the entry price to the LTP. So you can see here it shows 31,054 as 45 as M2M, 31,045 as P&L, which means this position I have entered today, and that's the reason M2M and P&L is same. Whereas in this position, this I have entered yesterday. So P&L, that is from the last closing price to the last traded price. Yesterday's closing price to last traded price is 19,000. From my entry price, it is 55,000. So yesterday we had seen an M2M of close to 1.2 lakh, and I had shared that on the community tab. and some positions were closed yesterday itself. So those records we are not going to have it today, obviously, because the positions are closed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add yesterday's M2M of 1.2 lakh to today's M2M. So we'll see what is today's M2M towards the end. So as I quickly move towards the end, there was not much trades which we took. It was pretty simple. So as I move towards the end, you can see the M2M today is 5,77,000. So that is 5.7 lakh. So both put together, we have 5.7 plus 1.2, which is going to come close to 6.9 lakh as our overall profit in 2 days. So this I am going to add to Excel because this was taken more as a BTST trade rather than a positional trade. But other positional trade profits I am not going to add here because we are keeping a intraday trade log, so not a positional trade log. So but this I am going to add to the profits. Why? Because the main reason is this was a BTST trade, more of an intraday trade which was converted into positional because we expected the market to remain flat. So I'm quickly going to fill in the Excel. So we have a profit of 6,90,000 with 37 or 30,000 as brokerage, and we are going to get 6,60,000, which means we have also achieved our overall target today. So today was an amazing day where we actually ended up achieving our final target for the month as well. And this month there are no more targets. I am not going to increase this target to say something around 6% or 7%. Next month again we'll start with 3% and see where we can actually go. So it's actually amazing that we were able to achieve or hit 5% both months, both June as well as July. So that is really amazing. And tomorrow after Friday's trade, what we are going to do is tomorrow's video, I am going to make the analysis of this particular thing because we have already June analysis made here. What is our average profit, average loss? So we are also going to make the analysis of July month and see how it has turned out to be. So I hope you have liked this video, guys. So this was little different where we spoke about how we actually analyze OI rather than showing you the trade. And I hope you have liked this. If yes, please do hit the like button, share as well as subscribe. You can also follow us on other social media platforms and I have provided link to that in the description below. And one more very important thing is do check out our community tab for regular updates because we keep posting about our positional trades and all other updates on the community tab. So don't forget to check that out. Thank you so much for joining, guys, and see you soon in the next video. Thank you.